Yo. Okay. I'm great. I'm great. Oh, it's a jacket. So the heater in the room here is broken, so I'm just like in a warm jacket. No, I'm still in Europe. I'm at my parents' place at the moment. So but heading over soon. Heading over to the US in a couple of days. Gonna be chilling in San Francisco. Yeah. But yeah, for the moment, I'm still kind of This is it's kind of cold here, and the heater is broken. So yeah, I'm kind of cuddled up in a warm jacket. Um, oh, nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's probably colder in the US. Like the US always kind of it gets really warm, but also really cold. You have more extremes. Whereas Europe is just always mild. The winters don't get really cold, and the summers don't get really hot. Um, yeah. Yeah, Casey. I was just on a call with him, so he's just making himself some food. He remembered 1 minute before the stream that he's hungry. So, um, wait, I can just start sharing my screen, provide some nice visuals. It's gonna finish up. It's gonna clean up this PR until Casey arrives, and then I think when Casey arrives, we just we do the usual. I think we just start with going through the commits since the last stream, and then we go from there. We have some things we can talk about, some small PRs to merge and stuff like that. But yeah, what is the temperature in Fahrenheit? Like I have to learn that now the imperial system. Uh-huh. It freezes at 34, no? Oh, 32. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's cold, I guess. Yeah. Is there snow or is it just cold?
In the US, or in Oklahoma, there's snow. I would pop my camera out and show you, but I don't know how many people are watching, waiting for me to dox my address by accident.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, yeah. As soon as you move the angle a little bit, somebody will calculate the impact of the light, and then they will geolocate you according to what time is it and like
Did
what
you
angle
did you
the
see that?
sunlight is at.
Did you see Shia LaBeouf? Like, Shia LaBeouf or what? LaBeouf, whatever.
Yeah,
He
the
had the whole
just
like,
do it guy, like the
yeah.
meme
So
guy.
he had like a whole like flag or something that he put out in the middle of nowhere, and
Uh-huh.
4chan like figured out like from planes passing by where it was. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, it's dark here, and like I have my blinds down, so I hope nobody figures that out. um, yeah, but I mean, it's really difficult to be absolutely private nowadays. Like,
Mm-hmm.
also being a complete anon on the internet is also very difficult. Like, you have to be so disciplined. I don't think I have the discipline for that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing a lot of people forget is that it's you mess up once and your identity's linked.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think I can stream this live on Twitter this time.
Oh yeah, we could do that. Send me the
I'm doing,
link.
yeah.
I can repeat it.
All right, there it is. Okay.
Oh God, the wallet.
Okay, wait. I'm just gonna close all of this. This is in a
I
horrible
hear
state.
Casey.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up, Casey? Nice haircut.
Thank you, thank you. Feeling fresh, feeling aerodynamic. Very tired though. Very, very tired.
What are the charts behind you?
It's from episode of the How Many Podcast, which you can get wherever fine podcasts are purveyed. We did one with Mark on when the yield curve was inverted, the Fed bond government note yield curve is inverted. What it means when the yield curve is inverted, I do not know, but apparently it's bad.
But Mark knows.
Yeah, Mark knows. Yeah, he gave us the skinny, which apparently I don't remember.
I mean, yield curve inverted. So long-term rates are lower than short-term rates.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah, it's a weird situation. But we're talking about code, not finance today. But
Yeah.
I mean, everything's intertwined with Bitcoin. That's what I like about it. It's not only code; it's also economics, it's incentives.
Yep.
It's whatever the central bank does. It's Bitcoin is a nice, liquidity proxy.
So I'll give
Okay, shall we start? Are we ready?
Yeah, I'll give a little this is recorded, everybody. I'm live streaming this, so make sure you don't say anything that your mom wouldn't like. And thanks for Ordinals Coding Club. Hop in the Ordicord, ask questions. We have a really, really good team of very selfless moderators and tech help enthusiasts. And yeah, Raph, you have I'll probably post the issue here somewhere in the chat if people want to.
Oh yeah, I
things.
made like a discussion on GitHub. Like discussion is always kind of better for like getting ideas together than issues, because you can like upvote and then comment on specific things. There's more dimensions to it. Yeah. So when did we do the last stream? Do you remember? It was before New Year's, no?
It was right after Christmas, right?
Yeah, the 27th or something.
I like this every 2 weeks thing. So it was pre-Jubilee. So we've had a Jubilee in between now and then.
Oh shit! Yeah, we did a lot of things. Let me monitor the chat a little bit. I don't know what's going on there. Oh man, a lot of things. Okay, I can't catch up on this.
I'm scrolling.
Okay, everyone. Some people want the rune stuff. Okay, yeah, we'll start with the commits like we always do. Add index for pair progress bar. I think we reviewed this last time. So yeah, we had I think 1 release or 2 releases in between, or even 3. 2 major releases, 1 minor. Did we talk about delegate stuff last time?
No, we did not.
Okay. Yeah, Casey. So yeah, I guess the history of it, we saw a lot of kind of inscriptions just posting the content path, and we're like, well, what's up with that?
Oh yeah. So, like more specifically, inscriptions that they're HTML inscriptions, but the body is just /content/inscription ID, like not at a link. And it turns out this is the BRC 420 standard, which has been around for a long time. It's really stupid, just like most of these standards, and it is some weird way of doing royalties that doesn't work. It doesn't work. Easily bypassed, but they use this, and it made me think, okay, well, like, wouldn't it be nice if these inscriptions actually showed up on ordinals.com? And so the intent of this /content/inscription ID in the body, don't worry, adult arts and crafts, royalties don't work, and that's why we don't do them. So there's no like disillusionment when they finally when the chickens come home to roost and they really don't work. So anyways, but this /content/inscription ID is a way to kind of create cheap duplicates of inscriptions. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting feature. And so we added this thing called the delegate, where an inscription can include in the a tag called the delegate tag, which is an inscription ID. And if that delegate tag is set, then ordinals.com will display that inscription instead of the that inscription is the content instead of the inscription that has the delegate tag.
Yeah. And so it is part of the protocol, but we haven't made it part of the wallet yet. Casey promised to get that command in. So at the moment, you can't create it with the Ord wallet.
Yeah.
I think there's some inscription tools that do allow it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Chisel allow it?
I think Chisel. Chisel.xyz. Oh, it's down. Okay.
It's probably
It's probably
redeploying it.
Yeah, bad time to redeploy. Could have been. So yeah, that's the delegate. Casey, what's the ETA on the command, on the wallet command? Maybe we do that today.
That'd be a decent thing to do today.
Yeah, maybe we do that today. So let's keep that open. So yeah, that's delegate. Pretty straightforward.
Yes, that is a rice cooker, VP. Rice cooker is key.
The rice cooker, the recurring feature, like your rice cooker.
This is an instant pot that I never fucking use because it's just it's not as good as a Dutch oven. I hate to say it.
Dutch ovens are pretty nice. So yeah, and then we had this nice little commit PR that adds kind of where the default directories are. Like in the beginning of Ord, like everyone was confused where the index.readb is, and now it kind of adds it in the help output, which is nice. Then we placate Clippy. Then yeah, CSP for different endpoint deployments. That doesn't really matter. Use enum for inscription tags. So instead of having constants all over the code base, we do the idiomatic Rust thing, which is to use enums. Is it in here? Where is the enum? Here it is. No. Yeah, here it is. So these different fields are now enums, and then yeah, they have like mappings through a function, and kind of makes the code a bit more idiomatic and easier to debug because it makes it part of the typed system. Refactor Bitcoin client for wallet. So yeah, at the moment I'm working a lot on the wallet. I'm trying to pull it out into its own module. And what we hope will be allowed through this is to, like, not this specific commit, but like this is part of a bigger change that you can run Ord like you run Bitcoin-D. So it's a process in the background, like the same way you would start Bitcoin-D. And then you talk, the wallet just talks to the already running server. So there's not this conflict between running the server and running the wallet, and then you always have to kind of close it out or have two index RDBs running at the same time. So yeah, would make prototyping faster, it just makes usability much cooler. And then we're using that opportunity to kind of pull out like core wallet logic into its own module so people can use maybe parts of that module more easily and kind of see what we're doing. That was the PR was just working on when we started, but that's still a couple days away. Yeah. And as part of that, I refactored some stuff in the wallet. Add recipes. Only store transaction with inscription and database. Yeah, this is so Ordinals.com was very slow. So we tried to figure out ways to make it faster, and one of them was like, okay, what if we store the transactions in our index? So the way it works right now is that when you load an inscription on Ordinals.com or in the Explorer, it talks to Bitcoin Core, gets the transaction from Bitcoin Core, and then, of course, extracts the actual content of an inscription from the witness of that transaction and then displays it. Bitcoin Core is kind of the bottleneck there because it's like very slow RPC calls. It's not very efficient. It's not a binary protocol. It's an RPC. It's a JSON RPC. So it's hex, and the translation from hex to binary is also not very efficient. So we were like, let's store the inscriptions in the database. It does speed up retrieval of inscriptions.
But we weren't able to measure an overall improvement to the performance of the site when we did this.
Yeah, exactly. So the site had other problems, which we solved in a later commit, which we will get to. But this was also a nice kind of part of the debugging process. And you can now, if you want, I think it's a flag now, isn't it?
Yep, it's a flag. Yep.
It's a flag. So if you want, you can put the whole transaction data into the server, and then it is marginally faster. Okay. Cool. Then let's go to previous. So yeah, and we didn't deploy it because there was no use in it. It just took longer to index and wasn't really worth the squeeze in this case. But we kind of kept it, but we didn't deploy it in our production server. Install to copy binary and deploy some deploy script stuff, some translation stuff, and then we made a release for 14. Just a small release. It was meant to be a small release before the Jubilee, so everything was already finished for the Jubilee, but we just wanted to make a kind of a clean release for the Jubilee. It was a couple of days before that. Clean up just file. So yeah, we have a just file which has some recipes, then like some small things we have to execute very often. Just to clean that up a little bit. Fix wallet create. I do not know what I did here.
That was like a bug fix. That was.
Oh yeah, that was a bug fix. So yeah, it was a bug fix, and it was kind of not like critical in the sense that something would have accidentally get lost, but it made the wallet not usable in specific cases, not in all cases. So I fixed it and made a quick release after that. Yeah, culpa. Then some deploy stuff. And then the status page now also displays the chain. So status page.
We don't link to the status page anywhere, but it's really nice. You can go to ordinals.com/status and see all sorts of stuff about the chain, the mainnet, the number of inscriptions, what branch it's running on, the git commit of the server, all sorts of stuff, and the uptime.
Yeah, and we have nanosecond precision, so yeah, very important. Right. Look how fast the server is. Okay, whatever. That's the status page. It's add JSON endpoint for status. Okay, exactly. And then this status page now also returns the same information in JSON format, so it can be consumed by, for example, the wallet. I need it for the refactoring of the wallet. Then we have a JSON endpoint for runes as well. So we didn't have that before. I guess people are already playing around with runes and kind of trying to get a grasp of the logic and kind of building stuff around Ord for that. So
the runes ecosystem is flourishing, even though runes are unreleased. Everybody's like ready to jump on it when they fucking want.
Yeah. So yeah, we have this small endpoint. Yeah, this was a great PR. It was good. Fix wallet. And then the vindication charm. There was this whole drama. I don't know if you want to expand on that, Casey, but there was this whole BRC20 drama. I don't know if you guys got wind of that. I mean, you probably did.
I saved BRC20. So there's a conflict between Domo and Unisat. Domo is the creator of BRC20. Unisat is the largest BRC20 inscription service, and they disagreed about upgrading to Ord 0.14 because Domo thought that it was like risky to upgrade, and they had frozen on 0.9. Unisat wanted to go ahead and update. If they had disagreed about this would have kind of caused a protocol split between the people who were using 0.9 for BRC20 indexing and 0.14 for BRC20 indexing. There was sort of the last minute change by Unisat, apparently, that they wanted to update and Domo didn't know, and it was like a whole drama. But they sort of agreed on this middle path that they're going to upgrade to 0.14, but they're going to continue to ignore inscriptions that would have been cursed in the past. And this is partially enabled by adding this vindicated charm, which inscriptions that would have been cursed pre-Jubilee are now uncursed, but they get the vindicated charm. And so this is how do I put this? So this enables upgrading now and respecting vindicated inscriptions later. And so it's a charm, it's called Vindicated, and it has the flaming heart emoji. Right?
Yeah. I wanted to call it Blessed, and we had this little Emor. He said Vindicating is more Lindy.
Yeah.
I disagreed and said Blessed is more Lindy. But then I already lost because it was out in the wild, and the Twitter people jumped on Vindication.
Yeah.
So it's called Vindication now.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. So this is also something I need for the wallet. So sometimes when you start the server, you just want to, display something quick that is already an inscription. You just want to show it real quick. So now you can kind of add this option to not sync, which means it will not index any new inscriptions. It will just start the server. The index will be frozen, and then you can kind of click around on existing inscriptions without having to wait for it to catch up to the chain tip. So yeah, just makes the Explorer a little bit more configurable and more easy to use if you don't want to start it up and start indexing. Yeah. Deduplicate deploy scripts. Oh yeah, and now we've decided, after the Jubilee, to go from alpha to beta. So I don't know if you knew, guys, but you were using alpha software, pumping thousands.
They knew they were using alpha software
into this alpha level software. But now we're beta, so you can now confidently pump more thousands of Bitcoin into this. It's still better though, so yeah, we're getting there. So yeah, this PR was literally just a change in the in the front end. It was a very arbitrary decision to just be or not very arbitrary. We had the Jubilee, so we hope now that the inscription updater is very stable. We do not want to touch that part of the code base again. It gives us PTSD, and we want it to stay stable. So beta means that that part of the protocols is hopefully stable. Of course, runes is still pre-alpha. It has nothing to do with runes. It's just for ordinals and inscriptions. Oh yeah, and then the biggest kind of so yeah, we had ordinals.com was horrendously slow. We did not know what was going on. We were getting a lot of requests. We get about 50 million requests per day, and we were kind of flailing around trying to figure out what makes the server slow. We were discussing kind of building in proper profiling, kind of figuring out in a production use case, where are the bottlenecks? Because locally, you can't really figure out where the bottlenecks are, because you have to test it in real kind of real life, and the real paths, the real and often used paths through the code base. So we're discussing, putting in profiling and trying to do all of this stuff. But then, I don't know, Casey had this stroke of genius, I guess it's called, or I don't know how you figured this out, but it's
It was really
oh
just
yeah, I
like
guess we were discussing
simulation.
with another developer. We were discussing this, and we were talking about the async model. So we use an async server. Specifically, we use the Tokyo runtime, and we thought Tokyo was smarter than it was, or did things different than it was. But what Tokyo did, it blocked on long synchronous calls. So long calls to the database, which are synchronous, would kind of block all of the kind of the progress of the runtime. So all tasks in that runtime would like stop. And instead of so we kind of were like, okay, what if we just offload these synchronous calls into their own thread and create this thread pool that the runtime kind of takes from. And why can't I see the changes? And this basically manifests itself with this small annotation to like every function or inside of every function, which is the block in place, which kind of dispatches these calls, all of them, into its own thread. And that made the server very snappy again. So that fixed almost all of our problems. It feels like more or less snappy again. Like at the moment, of course, it's fucking slow.
No, it's just these like inscriptions on the homepage that are just slow to load. Everything's loading.
So yeah, beforehand would take like forever. Like clicking on an output or anything would like take forever. Yeah. Anything to add here, Casey? I don't think I did a great job explaining this, but
No, yeah. It was really lucky. Sometimes performance stuff, to fix it, you need to do like a whole bunch of very invasive changes. And this was like basically a one-line change in a bunch of different places, the same one-line change. And it fixed all of our performance problems. Like the server's fast now. Yeah, so really, really, really big win.
Yeah, this was great. It saved us a lot of work. Like we were building all this profiling and all this stuff. But now we can kick the can down the road and do it whenever we get into problems again.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and this is also part of the performance. Avoid skip when paginating inscriptions. Yeah, it was the way iterators work in Rust, is that when you do a skip, this thing over here, it actually goes over all the entries. We thought it would just like skip them and it wouldn't like incur a runtime kind of performance, it would just like go over it, but it doesn't. And so we kind of got rid of that. That also makes some of the calls a little bit faster. Yeah, fix some typos, fix some stuff here and there. Oh yeah, here's some rune stuff. People love the rune stuff. So yeah, we use now enums here as well instead of constants. Where is this? Maybe here in here tag. So yeah, you see now it's a nice enum as well for these things. Fix some link, and then we made a release. So I forget why we did it.
I think to get the vindicated stuff out. That was the main thing.
So yeah, vindicated and kind of beta was the reasoning. Add a recipe, suppress empty command output. So yeah, normally when you ran a command, it would like print this empty JSON object, which was kind of annoying. Now we just return nothing. If it's instead of an empty kind of curly braces, we just return nothing, which kind of looks cleaner when you execute commands that don't return anything. Yeah. Then another optimization over here, optimize get inscription ID by SAT. Yeah, some more optimization. Add crate to audit content security policy. So yeah, this is an ongoing issue with broadly encoding. So we use Cloudflare, but Cloudflare is rewriting our headers, which means that the header that we pass the client. So your web browser does not include broadly as an acceptable encoding. And that's why the browser does not decode broadly. And we pass it in, so we give it, but Cloudflare, which is kind of in between our server and the client or you, rewrites or deletes that header. And we wanted to kind of audit that we were doing everything correctly and that it's Cloudflare's fault. So yeah, we wrote, or Casey wrote, this small crate to run through a bunch of tests to see that we do everything correct. Anything else to that, Casey?
Nope.
Okay. Remove a dead link. Then I added some stuff to some JSON output. Then we decided to not cache so aggressively. Oh yeah, and then we finally added a Docker file. So people kind of like Docker. I used to use Docker a lot, but kind of got a little bit, personally, I got a little bit annoyed by this extra level of abstraction.
Docker sucks ass. Docker sucks dog shit, man. Docker sucks.
Yeah.
If you're using fucking Kubernetes and you're like deploying like a billion fucking things, then like, yeah, Docker's fine. But I think most of the time it's that it just doesn't give you that much. And it's a huge layer of indirection. Everything's in this fucking container. You have some on a Mac, you have some daemon running all the time to manage your fucking Docker images. Like it sucks. But yeah, we do now finally have a minimal Docker image.
Exactly. Like we did the most minimal thing. We decided to Docker should build this thing from source. So like it just copies over all the files and then compiles it in the image and then creates this very minimal image that you can then use, I guess. We haven't pushed it onto Docker Hub or anything. And we probably also don't or will never kind of support any official Docker image. But you can, like, when you download the repo, you can do docker build -t and the command you see down here, and then it'll build a Docker image, and then you can integrate it into your infrastructure the way you like. You can use Docker Compose or Kubernetes or whatever you wish to use. So we have that now. So some favicon, add option. Oh yeah, Casey, you want to explain this one?
Oh yeah, so currently the index, when output is spent, it deletes the stat ranges from the index. And what this means is that you can't query the index for old outputs to see which stat ranges were in them. But we, because it's very slow, the index just gets very, very large unless you clean up those old stat ranges. So we wanted to allow people to do this. So we added an option to the index where spent sats are retained instead of deleted. However, we've never actually run this on a full run of the sat index on mainnet. I don't know if it can be built. I don't know if the database can be built with this option because it's so big. I think I ran out of space on a laptop with 8 terabytes of storage trying to build it. And so you might need tens of terabytes, you might need hundreds of terabytes, you might need tens or hundreds of gigabytes of RAM. So yeah, it's big. It's a lot of data. But I hope somebody does try it. I'm curious if it can work and how big of an index, how beefy of a server it requires to be made to work.
Yeah, I hope somebody runs and reports back, or makes it even available to, like, spins up an ordinals.com, an Ord Explorer, and makes it available so we can kind of.
One thing you could do is you could run this and then you could charge for API access to the historical SAT index because it is very expensive to run this. That's something we could do if like people wanted this, but we would have to justify it financially for some beefy ass server.
Yeah, that's the commits. So yeah, I guess we maybe we start with reviewing some small PRs to kind of get the
Well, let's
juices
do the
flowing.
first one by a very handsome and clever Ord contributor.
This one.
Yeah.
Hide BVM network inscriptions from homepage. Let's see if we have one on the homepage right now. Just slow again.
I don't think we do. I haven't seen one.
Yeah. Look at all these cool inscriptions. I love the
Yeah.
homepage.
Yeah, it's looking
Much
good.
nice.
Homepage is looking really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, but there are these inscriptions from this, cursed thing called the BVM network that I don't know, it's like Ethereum, but like on inscriptions. Who knows, man? But they all start with this like HTML string so that they are valid HTML and they look disgusting. And so this PR just hides them from the homepage. Doesn't change anything at the protocol level. And if you go to /inscription to look at your BVM inscription, you'll still see it. But it removes it just hides it from the homepage. That's it. And we do this all the time. Nothing again. I mean, nothing morally against these protocols, but they just don't look good on the homepage since they're all protocol messages that all look the same. So we just hide them whenever we see a new type of them that we can match.
Yeah. So this is the thing we're matching against. Ooh, ooh. Oh, okay. So you don't do the content thing anymore.
No, we still do. I just renamed it to BRC 420 since it's a little bit more descriptive than just content.
Okay. Yeah, if it matches this. And then we test here. If we have this, true. And if we have this, it's also true. Yeah, this looks fine.
Cool.
Prove it. Okay. Is there any other PR you had?
I don't think so. Let me check. Nope. Nope.
Okay. Then I guess I'm just gonna have a look at this. I haven't looked at this yet. Wallet having been renamed to name in README. Yeah, okay. Let me update this. Probably something in the documentation. So ord wallet commands automatically load the ord wallet given by the wallet option. Now ord wallet automatically load the ord given the name option. Yeah, this is good. This is fine. Thanks. And then we merge this. I'm just gonna call this.
Just say like use
wallet
wallet,
docs.
use name instead of wallet in README or something like that. Or where? Oh yeah, in README. Yeah.
Okay, this should then merge. Cool. Lifetime thing is not ready yet.
Nope, not yet.
Okay. Let's have a look at this one. I think I commented on this. So what is the support TX blocks JSON response? I don't know what that means. I forgot. What did he add here? Oh, okay. So this person wants to add a couple new JSON endpoints. first one being the blocks endpoints. You can see like if we have this thing in here, it'll also accept returning JSON. And then, yeah, so yeah, it returns this thing here. And then we do the same thing in which function is this? The transaction function. Just returns this JSON here as well. Now it exports these things, so it's fine. It derives it up here, does makes an alias, it's fine. Okay, and then I commented some things. Let's have a look. This is a good start. Could you add tests? Okay. So he did this. Fine. Fixed. I don't know how to set this txt. Can you help me? See what he did in here. So this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Okay, and then I asked him to add some tests. So he adds 2 endpoints. So we should add 2 tests in our kind of JSON RPC tests. And I don't know if is the person who did this in the stream. Can do it together.
Davy Rain.
David Rain Su. Davy Rain Su, sorry.
Yeah, if you're in here, David Rain, feel free to request and I'll bring you up.
Okay. So yeah, I may just do it for him since I'll just have a look at this PR and do it for him. This should be quite easy, and then we can also talk about the how we do the tests. So yeah, I use this nice GitHub tool to kind of check out this PR. So it checks this out for me. Tests JSON. Where did he put them? So if we look here, he put them get transaction, get block, get transaction. Okay, I'm just going to move this to the. Okay, so he did add the block one, I guess. I'm not seeing this in here. Did we already have that? So I guess we already had that one. Get runes. Okay. And then he was unclear about how to add the TXID. Okay, get transaction. Yeah, like when we kind of ask you to make tests, the way I usually kind of go about it, I just look at the surrounding tests and try to figure out the stuff from there. So now we just want to get a random transaction and test that it kind of returns the right thing. And I happen to know that when you do mine blocks, is this not working? When you do mine blocks, it returns the block, and we can get the TXID directly from it. I have to look into here, but my LSP is not loaded yet. So yeah, so I just jumped here. Mine blocks, this is the function, and it returns a vec of blocks. So we just get the first block. So we only mine 1 block, so we get the first one. And then block contains TX data. So we can get TX data, which is also a vector. And then we just get also the first one, I guess. And this should return a transaction. And on this transaction, we can call txid, which is a function, and then we can get the txid, and then we can take this txid and put it in here. We're doing format. txid. Then we can just, of course, we don't want block JSON, we want transaction JSON. We don't need this. And then we can transaction JSON. So we probably have to import this in the tests. So I go to test lib. I can go to block JSON. Here's block JSON. So this would be transaction JSON. Transactions is a private module, so I have to go to templates. You can see here this private, so I make it public. Just jumping around and kind of figuring out until it works. So now this is right. So we probably have to make this public as well, since we're using it in the tests. So these are integration tests. So they're outside of the crate, if I understand it correctly. To make this pub as well. And then if we want to test these things, we have to make them pub as well. Just gonna copy this out here. Yeah, let's just see what it returns. I'm just going to put a none here for now. Chain is probably mainnet. Probably doesn't have any runes. Inscription count should be probably 0. So here we need the transaction. So let's extract the transaction before. We call this let transaction. And then we call this transaction. Oops. And then we can just inline this transaction, and this is the txid. And now we can kind of just look at the test. We only want to look at test transaction. And I'm just going to watch. See what it returns. The block hash is probably not none. It's probably something. Oh wait, something's wrong over here. Yeah, let's just clone it. This is a test, so whatever. You don't really care about performance. Okay, I guess it works. Yeah. So yeah, let's run the CI. So the CI tests are kind of all the tests. So we have this just command called just CI. It's just going to run through, yeah, the thing that kind of does all the checks. Now I'm going to run through all the tests, and while those are running, I can already commit stuff. Why is my shell so slow? Add tests. Add test. Git push. It's probably going to complain. Oh yeah, if you open a PR, always create a feature branch on your repo, because if you do it from master, it's just a pain for me, and it's also better. Yeah, it's just the way to do it. Just always use feature branches. Okay, so look. So yeah, I made this pub. Fine. I made this all pub because I needed it in tests. Then I added this test, get transaction. Boom. Looks good. Casey, you want to have a look at this?
Yep.
Look at the support TX blocks JSON response thingy.
Let's see.
Oh wait, let's update the branch. Yeah, every time. Yeah, if there are any questions, like shout them out, Casey. I'm not monitoring the.
There's a lot of chatter. There's not. I don't know specific.
Yeah, I mean this is
questions.
very
Yeah.
trivial stuff. It's not interesting, but part of the job.
Garfield says they put some questions in the GitHub.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when I finish with this, I will look at the questions there.
Blocks JSON equals blocks HTML. More of this horrible these horrible aliases that I hate, but you know.
Yeah, we're gonna get rid of them. Like, yeah, exactly. That's also part. I mean, we can also do that today. We want to modularize some stuff. I kept them in. So I can remember which structs are also JSON structs, and then we're going to pull them out into their own JSON crate, and then any consumer of the API can. Yeah, this is a transient failure. Any consumer of the API can just use that module easily. It's on the to-do.
Yep. Okay, so now we have some imports, blocks. We take up the JSON. If we take JSON, we return the JSON. Otherwise, return the HTML. Guess I should share my screen. Do you want to stop sharing your screen so I can share? Rob?
Sorry?
Do you want to stop sharing your screen so I can share?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Starting from the top, we have some imports. We have blocks. I want to make sure that we're like kind of testing everything. So I'll just open this little Vim instance over here. Okay, so test blocks JSON. That looks fine. Except JSON. Test transaction JSON. Blah, all this stuff. Transaction HTML. If transaction JSON, if these are both the same struct, we could construct it out of the if statement and then just wrap it in JSON or not. Nah, whatever. Let's not do that.
Yeah, we could, but yeah, I guess we could. But we do it everywhere as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Fine, blocks JSON, transaction station, transaction JSON. We make this mod public for some reason.
So I can use it in the tests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had some EQ serialize, deserialize. Blocks JSON is blocks HTML. None of this stuff changed. And then we have transaction HTML, added some stuff, blockchain, chain, add chain, inscription count, transaction day, all this stuff is now pub, that's fine. And now we have a test, which is for get transaction, we want a transaction, blah, 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 blah. And then we do this stuff, we might blah. Okay. Why is block hash none?
Good question. I don't know. Check check if we pass it in at the endpoint. Yeah, it's a good question. Let's have a look. So server.
Block hash. So we call get transaction block hash. Get transaction block hash. Huh. Okay. Let's take a look at this. So this is get transaction block hash. Client get raw transaction info into option, and then info dot inactive chain unwrap or default. Info dot block hash. Otherwise none.
See if we go to a transaction. Let's go here. Like it never shows, like also on ordinals.com, I don't see a block hash.
Did this ever work?
I don't think it ever worked. Like I don't see it on ordinals.com.
Okay. Get transaction block hash. Only called in that one place. Someone's transaction, just block hash. If let's sum block hash, we do this block. Huh. So get raw transaction info, none, into option, and then info. If info inactive chain, unwrap or default. Huh. What's the test here?
Which test?
I'm sorry, it's the get.
Oh, get transaction. Get transaction. In the JSON API. It's an integration test. So yeah, our integration tests lie in the directory called tests, and then we have some unit tests which are inside of the modules. But it's a very continuous spectrum in practice.
So I'll just check out the GitHub branch locally so that I can now see the test. Get transaction.
And yeah, I just see the question by Salman about our UI library. We use something called boilerplate. We can show it to you later. It's just a templating library Casey wrote. The files, so the actual templates lie in the templates directory. If you look templates, it's just HTML files. And in them you see these, like very common templating kind of things that are wrapped in either percentage signs or in double brackets. And then these get kind of populated by the server through files in the source source / templates, and then the template, the corresponding template file in the templates directory, and then they get generated and filled up like that. Yeah, it's very, very basic. I mean, that's why the website looks the way it is, but it's very nice to, it's very easy to maintain. So yeah, the Explorer, since we do the full stack, like down from the database up to the front end, we wanted something that's kind of easy and simple. But yeah, I can show it to you later how that works.
I don't get this. Get raw transaction info, inactive chain, unwrap or default. And if I go to ordinals.com and I go to some mind.
Yeah, I also don't see it on ordinals.com.
And this is transaction. And this should be where. No. It should be, if we have an etching, we have a display list. And if you view page source, that display list is empty. Huh. Huh. That's quite odd. Get our transaction info. Take a look at this. And then it's block hash. Maybe this is us just misunderstanding what this API call does. Get raw transaction, results, block hash, string, the block hash. Inactive chain is only present with an explicit block hash argument. Huh. Okay, so you did call update. So actually, I think this indicates like a misunderstanding on our part. Get raw transaction only returns a block hash if the block is present, and it only returns inactive chain with when block hash is set. So anytime we are using inactive chain is wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. But I guess in the meantime, we should just remove this because we don't have any way of getting the block hash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for this PR, I'll make a note to fix
Remove
the
it.
yeah, and remove our reliance on it.
Yeah, to open an issue. But other than that, this looks good.
No, there are no tests for the transaction JSON or the blocks JSON.
Oh, they aren't?
No, there's only one test, I think.
Let me see. I have one over here, get block.
Maybe I'm not seeing.
I don't understand why it's not in the diff. Did he already have this? But then what did he add? Look at this again. Oh, blocks. And this is block. Ah, oops. Yeah, so yeah, we also need one for blocks. So the plural. So I'm just going to copy this test, rename it to blocks. 9 blocks. This should be. So what does this get? So this. What is the blocks endpoint? Ah, this is inscriptions. Ordinals.com blocks. Ah, it's this one. Okay. Just returns a bunch of blocks. Okay, so let's mine let blocks equals. Let's mine 50 blocks, 11 blocks, 12 blocks. Yeah. And let's call this blocks JSON. Then I need to blocks JSON. same thing here. Go here. Public. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Templates. Block. Where's the blocks JSON? What's inside here? I'm just. Are you adding the blocks? I'm also just doing it. Casey?
Yep. I just added some changes. Permission denied. Oh, he doesn't have it a lot. He's not allowing us to push changes to his branch.
What? But I just did.
I'm getting permission denied. Let me check it out.
What? But I just pushed some stuff.
Oh yeah, it says maintainers are allowed to. Huh. Okay. Interesting.
I'm just adding the test for blocks, Jason. I don't know if you already did that.
Let's see the why this is failing. Permission denied. Oh, is it because I did a merge commit or something?
I don't know.
Maybe it was I did some merge commit and it can only be fast forwarded. That's probably it. Yeah, it's remote rejected.
Interesting. Okay. Should I share my screen while you try to fix it?
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm gonna finish up this test. Okay. So yeah, so we didn't have it for the blocks, so the plural the test. So now block. So we want the block hashes here. So down here, the blocks JSON returns a vec of block hashes. So up here we want the block hashes. This, as you can see, returns a vec of block. So I'm just gonna do an iter and then a map. And then I'm gonna take the block. I'm gonna do block dot, I think it's called block hash, the function. Let's see if that works. And then I do the collect to collect it back. Yeah, Rust has some really nice basic functional stuff.
Can you show me pushing to his branch?
Can I show you pushing? Yeah, sure. Let me just finish up this. Let's just call this blocks. And then I can make this one line. Featured blocks. I'm just going to do b3 map new for now. So we can kind of continue on and I can show you the pushing. Okay. Watch test get blocks. Okay. Casey, are you looking?
Yep, I'm looking.
Wait, add block test. Something panicked. Whatever. I'm just gonna show you pushing. So we see git push. So yeah, when I say git push, it says me I have to use this thing because it's master. It's always a pain. And then I just copy this, and then I push, and that's that.
Huh. Oh yeah, okay. Maybe I'm missing that. Maybe I'm missing that that headmaster thing. Like I'm trying to create.
Like it gives me that thing because it's kind of master. It kind of doesn't know where exactly it should push. Yeah.
Wait, don't
Blocks.
scroll yet. I dab
Yeah,
around.
I'm not scrolling. Missing field last. Don't I have last?
Okay, great. I just added some commits to remove block hash from everywhere.
Okay, so so I'm just gonna pull those in. You pushed it?
Yep.
Wait. Oops, git pull, not. Okay. You deleted a bunch of stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah, the block hash has gone everywhere.
Okay. So yeah, this test now found an error in the implementation, I think. That's why we write tests. Let's have a look. So server subcommand, something like this here. And then we look for fn blocks. Blocks JSON new.
Okay. Yeah, now we have both copies.
So why is this erroring? It returns the same thing. Unwrap. It's a non-value. Unwrap or 0. Get blocks 408. It tells me I'm missing the field last, but I don't get it. So in the blocks, we return the same thing as blocks HTML. And it should return something in last, but it doesn't.
Can I see the definition of the struct block hash? Blocks HTML.
Like this?
Huh.
Yeah, this thing. It's a U32. I don't know why it's not deserializing correctly, but it's failing in the deserialization step over here. Blocks JSON.
Oh, wait, go back.
Doing something wrong. Oh,
yeah,
oops! I'm not calling the correct endpoint.
Okay, good.
Yeah, here. So like we want the blocks endpoint. So yeah, so now it's missing the featured blocks. I put an empty thing here. The featured blocks are always the blocks, the 8 or the 4 last blocks. Let's have a look. So featured blocks, kind of the highest. Let's have a look at this struct again. It's a block hash to vec of inscription ID. Oh, pain. Okay, the vec should be empty, so it just should give me a B-tree map of the last 8 blocks. Yeah. Okay, so it should get me let featured blocks equals goddamn. Make this mute. And then we do featured blocks dot insert. Just blocks hash. I can just do like this. I just do blocks, and then I do an iter, and then I do a map. Block hash dot collect. And just put a tuple of an empty vec. I just do like this. And then I put the block hash here. And this should collect into the right thing. Oh no, it should take 8 iter. Take 8. Maybe I do into iter, and then I do blocks.clone. Block hash. Maybe it's rev. Take it from the back. God damn. Okay, now I have to actually understand what's going on here. So I can't see what's going on here, so I'm going to do a pretty assert. So last is correct, and then the blocks are just out of whack. Do I? So it's the reverse. They're in reversed order, I think. Yeah, as you can see, like even small PRs, it's always like testing always takes the longest. So the first part kind of looks okay. Maybe then this is not reversed anymore. Oh, it also probably contains the Genesis block, no? Casey?
Yeah, it should, yeah.
Maybe I just do 101. And then this should be 101. I don't know how I can get the Genesis block. oh yeah. And of course, so you see here, there's one extra. On the blocks page, we only saw 100 blocks and not 101. So we just reverse and take 100. Yeah, many things about. And then we look at the featured blocks. We'll see what's up with that in a bit. Okay, so those look okay. And then the feature blocked 1, 2, 3, 4. What's going on here? Where are there extra ones? Why is it only doing 5? Maybe it's only 5. Oh yeah, we're only doing 5, not 8. We put 8 inscriptions into the featured blocks. So if you go on, you put 8 inscriptions, but it only shows 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, this should be correct now. Okay. Blocks test 2. On the CI. Oh, 1 second. Something failed. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. 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 I think you can have a look at it, Casey.
Okay.
Or we can look at it together. I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, let's
so
look at it together. On your
be
screen.
fine. Okay. So you got rid of this function that we don't use, or that we use improperly. Then yeah, we just imported some new stuff. This stays the same. This stays the same as the one we moved before. Blocks JSON. Now we use it here. We have these slices. The block hash test goes away because we are not using it. This also goes away. This also goes away. And now we have these 2 beautiful tests. Casey, are you looking?
Yep.
So yeah, I'm just mining 101 blocks, and then I test that only 100 are shown in here. The last one is 101st. We feature 5 blocks, and yeah, that's basically it. And then for get transaction, same thing, only we get the transaction, and then we test that the JSON is correct. Does that look good?
Yep, looks good to me.
And then we just use them in the tests. That's why we have them here. I will approve it. Okay. I just added the tests for you. Have a look if this is good. Something like that, whatever. Think too much about it. Some CI test fails. So yeah, I'm just going to leave this open for him to have a look at it and then merge it when he comes back. Or should I just merge it? Some test is failing. Yeah, some test is failing. Unexpected end of file during chunk size line. This looks like something transient. That's annoying because it also happened on my machine, and then I ran it again and then it worked. But I don't get that error. Okay, yeah, while this runs, we can decide what to do next.
There are a couple PRs that are not mine, but have sort of been languishing without review for a while. One of them is the PR that implements burn. The other one is the PR which emits location update events to an optional channel. And then the third one is the it's an issue. It's the BVM inscriptions break inscription numbers issue.
Or we do the delegate.
Yeah, or we do the delegate.
I mean, I'd give you the driving seat now, so you can decide what you want to do.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, maybe we should do delegate. I think it'll be a more interesting PR.
Okay.
Give me a second. I'm gonna turn the pull the shades down and use the bathroom. I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
Delegate's a popular topic right now too. So.
What is a popular topic?
The delegate.
Yeah.
Delegation.
Yeah, I think it's slowly like making itself into the ecosystem. So we should provide the tools to actually make it. I think that's probably the most sought after thing and most high impact thing. Cool. So the CSP thing. Yeah, let's see what else people wrote here. I'd love to see an example case of an inscription using block height as a seed for Conway's Game of Life. Oh, yeah, that would be nice. There's probably some inscription out there. If anyone knows any inscription, post them. Another thing, as of late, there has been some debate on the long-term reliability of recursive inscriptions. For example, if I do a recursive inscription referencing ID X, and then the renumbering system changes in a future update, my recursive inscription may in fact reference to Y instead. So yeah, that's why we do recursive kind of endpoints only with the ID. So the ID is something that never changes. So if you reference content with the ID, that is stable forever. The number is basically just a cosmetic thing on top. We always try to encourage people to use the ID as their primary key or as their way to reference things. Of course, we made some concessions, and you can also now look up your inscription on ordinals.com with the number, but especially in the recursive endpoints, we still only use the ID. So that's how we make this long-term viable. Yeah, I don't know if Griffin is in the stream. I might just reply here. Griffin in the stream. Did you see my answer? Did you hear me answer? Ah, okay. Yeah, awesome. He's there.
I saw he requested to speak too. If you want to bring them up.
Yeah, sure. First, while Casey gets ready, we can. Okay, he doesn't want to anymore. Yeah, but yeah, that's. I hope that answers. And then, yeah, this. Oh yeah, see here, Lifo posted something about the block height for randomness. You can have a look at that. Yeah, but Conway's Game of Life with block hash would be cool. I mean, I bet somebody has done this. I mean, we had Doom somebody uploaded Doom in like inscription 400, so that must be someone who uploaded Conway's Game of Life somewhere. But maybe, yeah, I wanted to, maybe I'll do like a tutorial, like there's a bunch of commands people are not aware of. I might want to do a tutorial at some point. I'll just screen record and then upload it on the YouTube channel, kind of showing like the preview command, showing how to use the wallet in reg test, and maybe I'll use this Conway's Game of Life thing as a good example. Yeah, don't know yet when I can do that, but I want to. I think it's a good thing.
So I got a question. I heard you guys were talking about it when I passed out in Miami. So, but like I've always wanted to have like the whole Bitcoin node accessible in an inscription, like all the Bitcoin CLI commands. And like, were you guys talking about like doing a WebSocket, or like how to be able in the future just query like any blockchain data?
We
in an
definitely
inscription?
can't do that because recursive endpoints are bound by a very, very strong backwards compatibility guarantee. The output of a recursive call can never change, and Bitcoin is does not have the same guarantee. So Bitcoin D could change, and it could break a lot of inscriptions that relied on the endpoints on the RPC commands returning specific data. Also, there are some kinds of data that we explicitly omit from the recursive endpoints. So, for example, we're probably never going to add an accessible address recursive endpoint for like what the inscriptions on an address. Or yeah, so also the server, it doesn't really talk to Bitcoin Core much aside from getting raw transactions, and we wouldn't want to make the interaction much more complicated than that. So yeah, I think that is a non-starter, unfortunately.
I mean, yeah, so yeah, like raw CLI commands, no, but like I think the underlying philosophy of recursive endpoints is to add kind of as much data that you can get from Bitcoin as possible. So we will add that in a very slow fashion, in a very kind of deliberate fashion, to make sure that these endpoints make sense and are absolutely backwards compatible forever. But yeah.
Quick question: Did Casey say that will not add an endpoint that lets you fetch like inscriptions owned by an address? Like, is there any? I was curious to know like why that is.
Yeah, a couple of reasons. One is because the index is very, very large. So it would require anybody who wanted to view these inscriptions locally to have a running address index. So that would be very, very large, and we'd have to add it to the index. Another is that it really does promote address reuse, because then people will write all these inscriptions that add features depending on if you have multiple inscriptions in the same address. And that is kind of a habit that we want to discourage. All of a sudden they'll break when you transfer them. Also, the Ordinals wallet considers it fine to, if you have one of your own inscriptions and you're doing some other command, if you're moving it from an address that you control to another address that you control, but it's not the same address. Or the Ord wallet believes that it can do that freely without breaking anything. But if you're relying on having multiple inscriptions being in the same address, then that would break all your inscriptions that relied on being in the same address if it sent them together. So I don't think this is like a never kind of thing, but like right now I'm leaning towards not doing it.
I'll tell you the use case I had in mind. Like, I was thinking if an inscription could generate like a burn address, and then people could just send inscription to that burn address, then that essentially that makes it possible to do like permissionless state updates. So inscription could read whatever is there in the burn address and like decide what it shows or what it does. And anybody could send burn inscriptions there, something like that. But
right. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I mean, I think that use case is kind of interesting. It's like a SAT endpoint that anybody can update.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
But that could be done without having like a full full address index, it could just be the burn, like we could just index whatever in the burn address for
Well, the
that
thing is
inscription
that
rather
people would
than
want
it being a
to
long address.
people would want to have different burn addresses for different uses of this.
Oh no, it would be like auto-generated, similar to like the ETH burn address, is what I was thinking. So each inscription gets like a burn address when you create it based on the inscription ID. And
Yeah.
anybody could send inscriptions there, which is essentially like sort of like owned by that inscription,
Mm-hmm.
sent by other
So it's
people.
a comment section for an inscription.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that is interesting, although
Yeah.
how do we support that?
Like a teleburn for on-chain, not teleburns, but like
Yeah,
a.
like a Bitcoin teleburn.
I think the way we would go about it is like, yeah, creating a specific burn kind of transaction that burns it in a specific way, maybe in an op return that is unique to an
Sure.
inscription, and then implement that as part of the protocol, and not
Yeah, I
use burn addresses in that sense, but like have a protocol feature that's burning and then add onto that this feature of like a specific burn address for every inscription.
Yeah, I think it would be useful to have like op return and then some marker, and then the inscription ID means that it's been sent to a burn address, and then we can add those to the database, and then an inscription can look up its own burn address, and that's much better than having to build a giant database or all these other stuffs.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
All
then
right.
I'll
Should
give
I
you
share my
the
screen?
driving seat.
Yep. Oh yeah, for some reason not all of the checks reran.
Yeah,
so that
I don't know what's
fun.
going on there.
Let me just rerun failed jobs.
I'll look at that later.
Yeah. Okay. Now they're rerunning.
Right.
All right. Okay. Let me share my screen. So yeah, let's start. Create a new branch. And then great. So I guess we are so far we have everything is available in batches as well as non-batch inscriptions, right? Raf?
Sorry, what?
Everything is available. We make all features available in batch inscriptions as well as non-batch inscriptions, right?
Yeah. So we use the batch as the kind of the central point, central struct that does everything, but we do not support every feature in the batch file that we support in the inscribe. So we should just start by adding it to the normal inscribe command.
Okay.
I mean, you can also add it to the batch file, but that adds like another kind of round of complexity. And I think it's very easy to just stagger it and do it piecemeal.
Okay, so we're adding a new flag, delegate inscription content to delegate. So, okay. Now in preview, delegate none. And also delegate none. These should really be refactored to be shared. Or file in files for batch and batches. Okay, whatever, that's fine. And then in inscribe, self.file, get parent info from file. Maybe I'll just sort these. Getting long enough that it really should be sorted. Chain, compress, metadata, meta protocol, path pointer, path, chain, compress, metadata, meta protocol, parent, file pointer. And then here, now this should all changed. File. Hit this again so I can see what happened. Chain, compress, metadata. Chain compress metadata, meta protocol, parent, pointer. This, I think this can be better. Metadata, some. This is entry.metadata, metadata.path. So I'm just trying to get rid of this match statement. So if it's none, we get entry.metadata. If it's some, we clone the metadata, metadata.map, metadata, metadata.clone, .unwrap for, oh yeah, but it will put it into a result. See if this works. Ah, whatever. That's fine. Who cares? All this sorted. Maybe I'll commit that. If you're using Git, you should be putting patch on everything. So git add patch lets you view each each change that you're making as you do it. It's very, very, very nice. So you can just kind of quickly look through everything. See, I don't want that that there. Be describe with delegate. Oops. Whatever. Okay, so now we have this delegate thing. Let's go to where we're going to use it. So now this from file is going to take a delegate. Okay. So many problems. Let's see. Body ABCD delegate equals delegate map delegate pointer parent delegate value. Okay. Which takes 8 arguments. Okay, and now we can finally put the delegate in inscribe, working its way through the guts. Content type or from file now takes a delegate, which is after compress. So that goes in there. Now delegate or from file will be none when calling this. And yeah, so I guess we'll do it just for inscribe, or should we also do it for the batch file?
Depends on how motivated you are.
Yeah, I mean,
it's probably also nice to have it for the batch file. I mean, we will and have to do it for the batch file as well.
Yeah. It's also
if it makes sense to do it in one, do it in one.
Yeah. I think it's pretty simple.
I think so too.
You can always use self to refer to the current struct. So we use self here. And then delegate super delegate equals option inscription ID. It's also batch inscriptions. So the batch is something, delegate is on each inscription, right?
What do you mean on each yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So where's the batch file? called
It's
batch
in
file?
batch.rs.
Struct batch file. Okay, so
Batch.rs.
inscriptions mode. And then batch entry is the thing that should have it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a really nice way to program, is to just make changes and have your watch one on the right. And then if you make a typo, it just shows you where the typo is. I think anybody who programs in a dynamic language is crazy. Like, all this is just running with the type checker. Like, I have rules for when you need to like switch from one language to another. Like, first you start out with bash, and then what happens next? It's either if you need a variable that's not a string, or you need a function, then you need to switch to a real language like Python. And then if you have more than one source file in Python, then you need to switch to a real dynamic language with the type system. These are very strict, like
hierarchy of needs.
Yeah. Okay, so subcommand wallet inscribe. And now for the delegate, we want to do something odd, which is, what do we do with so this is going to call inscription from file, and it's going to use entry. So do we allow passing in delegate at the top level, and then it applies to all of the inscriptions in the batch? Otherwise,
I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay.
It's very easy to, like, if you wanted to apply to every, just like paste it in everywhere. And I mean, we can at some point add it, but I think the use case is for one inscription, not multiple inscriptions to reference one. I think.
Well, I assume that people will want to create like batch inscriptions with a ton of inscriptions that all delegate to one other inscription as a way of doing like a collection.
Yeah, maybe.
One thing I wonder about is, do we do that with anything else? Like, do we have some
the parent applies to all
metadata as well? Like, if metadata,
no, metadata is local. Is local to an inscription. It's always inlined it's in the batch entry.
But we pass in metadata, and if it's some, then we assert that no inscriptions have metadata, which shouldn't be an assert, right? We should bail, right?
Yeah. I mean, we could also bail, I guess. It'll
But
fail
I mean,
either.
Is this a user reachable error?
It shouldn't. Like,
oh, because we have conflicts with, right?
Yeah, we have conflicts, exactly. So it shouldn't be user generated. So that's why I made it an assert and not a bail.
Right. Okay, so yeah, all this stuff conflicts. So then let me look at this and see if there's anything that behaves this way that I'm proposing that delegate behaves. So batch CBOR metadata is not allowed. Commit fee rate is allowed, but that's not like a per inscription thing. Compress is allowed, but that's not a per inscription thing. We have delegate. We have destination. I think we do that as well. Fee rate, file, conflicts, obviously. Meta protocol. Yeah, it does conflict with meta protocol. No backup, no limit, parent postage, reinscribe, sad point. Okay, so I think the way that we should do it is just for this one, we should make it conflict, and then we can figure it out later if we want to make it not conflict. just like ADDing and like sorting these again. I think they're sorted, but I just want to make sure. They are indeed sorted. Put them back. Okay, so now delegate should conflict. I'm going to start writing a list of all the tests that I need to write. Delegate conflicts with batch. That might actually be really easy. Batcher files required. Flag conflict with bash. So actually, we can just add this now. Some delegate, and then some description ID. Like conflict. Oh yeah, okay. So now there's like fucking things in here. Oh god, we're using this in so many places. Okay. Oops. So now I changed the order on everything. Good for me. Chain. Compress. Metadata. Meta protocol. Parent. Path pointer. I think that is what that looks like. And then this is actually just showing the number of errors that have left yet to be fixed. When I run cargo watch in this, it runs cargo limit, which integrates with Vim to show you which where your errors are, so you can use jump to errors. So yep. So now this is the pointer. So we have chain, compress, delegate, metadata, meta protocol, parent, path, and pointer. I think pointer is the U64 here. Okay. And then now we have chain, compress, bunch of nuns, and then a pointer. Maybe like that. Oh, okay. But 6 arguments were supplied. Successfully deleted another argument. Delegate, metadata, chain, compress, delegate, metadata, meta protocol, parent, pointer. Trademark bool as path is not. Okay, so yet again, metadata, false, bunch of nuns, and then the pointer. Add another none. Damn, I need a faster laptop. Okay. Everything good so far. So we don't need that test anymore because we wrote it, or we don't need to remember it. Okay, so this is going to work now. And in the batch, we want to be able to have a delegate. So we can just say that we have a delegate for this one because it looks like it has the most stuff. Delegate. And maybe we'll sort of sort them. And we'll leave file at the top. Delegate, destination, metadata. Let's run the test real quick. I think this will fail because it's going to have an unrecognized field in the batch file. It should fail. Ah, okay. So This deny unknown fields. Do we not have a test for this? Or maybe it's an integration
I think
test.
I did add that.
I think it's an integration test, and I was just
Yeah,
running
yeah.
the test.
Oh, you only ran the unit tests. Okay, yeah.
Mhm. Huh. Do we not do this? Do we not run a test with this?
Look for unknown field. Grab for it.
I see it. We have batch file deny unknown fields.
Yeah. But grab for it. Maybe I think I named the test like that, but maybe
Here,
I didn't.
let me just do this. I'll delete the batch file and run the test and see if any tests complain. Okay. Do batch file load, batch file sort of YAML from reader, blah, 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 blah. Huh.
Deny unknown field.
Maybe I was missing this field for this test for some reason.
I guess not.
I know what it is. We need this on the batch entry.
Oh,
We have it on the batch
but
entry.
it is.
Deny unknown fields. Oh, we added it. Yep.
Smart.
Okay, there we go. Fails. Got it. Awesome. We don't need to do that. So now so now what do we need to test? We need to test delegates, sets delegates, and then we would test that batch file with delegate inscribes. Okay, so this is not where our inscribe tests are, or are they?
Inscribe tests are all over the place. There's integration tests, there's unit tests.
Inscribe with parent, inscribe, we insert, we do this stuff. And then we get the child inscription. We do this. How do we assert that it has a parent? Takes up with 0. Where does it assert? So we get the parent inscription, we set the parent info. We do insert, create the child inscription. Batch, create batch inscription transaction map. Assert EQ, reveal text up at 0 script key. I don't. Can you figure out how this test works, Raph?
Which one? Wait.
This inscribe with parent. So I'll just walk us through it. Maybe that'll help me figure it out. So we create some UTXOs with some amounts. We make some inscription, or we set a B-tree map for inscriptions. We get the parent inscription. We get the parent info. We set some stuff here. We insert the parent into there. We create a child with the parent set. And then we I feel like maybe this is like a low level test. That's not what I'm looking for. Do commit reveal fee rate. We do some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We do some more stuff. And then we start checking things. We start checking that the reveal value is correct.
Mm-hmm.
The fee is correct. The fee is correct.
Yeah, this is all
The
fee stuff. Yeah.
0 has the parent script pub key.
Mm-hmm.
The value is correct, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't look like we checked that the parent is actually present.
Yeah, so this is basically just testing the transaction construction. So this is a unit test that just tests like the inner batch interface. If you want to actually see that the parent is present, like on a protocol level and in the index, then you have to look at the integration tests, which I think somewhere there where you're looking.
Yeah, the wallet subcommand integration test.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to look at inscribe with. I mean, okay, so should we fail if the delegate does not exist? I assume that we should. People can use delegation to allow like revealed, delayed revelation of the delegate, but if they're not doing that, then it's an error.
Yeah, it should be error if it doesn't exist, because then we can make sure. And then you can set a flag or something if you wanted to delegate something that is not that doesn't exist yet.
Yep.
I think the base case should be to error.
Yep. Okay, so this worked, which we don't want it to. So we go to the wallet. We do actually. We have this like non-existent parent. Great. So get parent info. We do some stuff in inscribe. And in the same place, we can do this parent info, inscribe get parent. And we can do if let some delegate equals self.delegate, get inscription set point by ID. I think we just have like a does inscription exist. Inscription exists. And so now we can do ensure index.inscription exists delegate, or you do that. And I think this can all go away. That's just copy pasta. Except gotta do that. And now the test passes. We also need to check for non-existent a non-existent delegate when using a batch file. So let's do that. Delegate inscribed with non-existent, or sorry, batch inscribe. Okay, so now I'm going to find some batch thing where it uses a batch file. So we do command builder wallet new blah 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 blah. Fee rate delegate. So now we have batch.yaml, batch.yaml, and then we're going to write. We're going to write hello.txt. Hello world. Okay, and then we need to create this batch file. Right, batch.yaml, shared output, inscriptions, has some fucking array of inscriptions. And the delegate is going to be this thing. YAML is crazy. So something like this. See if that even works. Parent ID does not exist. Okay, fine. We'll actually use a variable. And we don't need the delegate flag because that's going to conflict. See what happens. Build file. Okay. Description 0, missing field file. Okay. Maybe I'll not do this. I'll do it with a multi-line format string. Descriptions. We have delegate. We have file. Let's see if it likes that better. Field missing file.
Can you elaborate more on the command builder?
Oh yeah, the command builder is a test, is something that we use to quickly construct invocations to Ord. So it's just a builder struct, and you populate it with like the arguments, the error code that you're expecting, the standard error, standard out, the RPC server, so that you can write these compact tests where you just call these functions and then you call run, and then it just kind of works. Yeah.
Magic.
Yep, absolute magic. Okay, so we have this like ensure thing, and then batch file inscriptions. Inscribe get parent info. Should we do this here or should we do this in inscriptions? I guess we should do it here.
Yeah. You can do it in inscriptions.
So for entering the inscriptions, so here we want to fail if the delegate is none. So inscriptions.entry. If let's entry.delegate, we don't have access to the index here, which is kind of annoying. So we could either pass it in, except I believe, oh no, okay, wait. Is this only used in this one place? Let's see what happens when I change this. I change this. I kind of felt like this was used in a lot of different places, but maybe it isn't. Okay, it's only used in this one place. So we can pass the index in, or we can do it ourselves. I suspect we should sort of pass the index in, because we don't want to like iterate over these things from the outside. So let's see how this goes. So now let's take
Sorry. Lost my phone.
and it passes. Okay, nice.
So were you saying that batch won't work with metadata on delegate?
No, batch will work with everything. I think it's just that the with metadata, I think you can set the metadata with the flag, but no, I think batch requires that you just give your own metadata for each file, I think, for each entry.
Yeah, so
Okay.
in batch you
That's what
put the metadata in YAML format, like in the inscriptions entry, since there's a nice mapping between YAML and CBOR. So it just translates it for you. Yeah, and the
Okay, cool.
conflict we
So
were
you're
talking
just saying
about
it wasn't
in
like
the
with the
flag.
JSON in?
So
Yeah.
Mhm, sorry.
So it's not like we can do with the JSON in the single one you run with the wallet, right?
I
Because with
didn't
batch, you have to
understand
put the
what you said.
metadata in YAML. I see. Okay, no worries.
Yeah,
Cool.
so yeah, you can put JSON metadata into the YAML. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you have to manually put it if you want to do batch. I mean, we can add a field where it already reads the contents of the inscription from a file, so it could as easily also read the metadata from a file. It's just another field we have to add to the batch. But at the moment, you put the metadata into the directly into the batch file.
Okay, cool. Because yeah,
Yeah.
that's like a big unlock with the generative stuff because you can seed it with the bat or the metadata.
Yeah, that's definitely something you can easily add. It would be a field called metadata file instead of metadata, and then it would read the metadata probably from a JSON file, to be honest. I mean, you could also read it from a CBOR file, kind of, but yeah, there's many options, many permutations.
So that command builder, is that like a mock server or is it like running in some ORD functions?
Yeah, so the command builder is like a struct that first collects all the different arguments and functions you want to run, and then it actually runs the server, the wallet, like it runs whatever command you put in. Yeah, and attaches a RPC server. The RPC server is the Bitcoin RPC server. Yeah, so it does all the setup, runs it, and it does all the testing and the asserts, and deserializes the output and checks a bunch of things. But it's like the struct that holds basically all the information that you would want to test and need. Yeah.
Do we gotta add a documentation table over here?
Documentation to the command builder.
Well, for the batch. If we add
Oh
this
yeah,
feature.
we're gonna add documentation for the delegate batch.
Are we?
I mean, you should definitely. I mean, it's a field. You just add it to the example batch YAML file, and that's
Someone in
basic.
chat want to do a PR.
I mean, you can also do it. You can open a
Try to get other
parallel.
people to do documentation to get them into the repo.
Yeah.
Documentation is hard to write, though. That's one thing.
Yeah.
It's good writers are as scarce as good programmers.
I mean, writing and programming is very related.
So we're trying to get the inscription via the server and commit inscriptions, inscription ID. And we're going to do format inscribe.inscriptions 0. Take a look at what's on this. Inscription info, and it has an ID. Okay. Inscriptions 0.d, and then we have this. How does it get populated? Inscription HTML delegate looks like this. So now we want to make sure that this has shit we're looking for. Delegate. So we both want to link to the delegate. Is this gonna work? Who can say? Yeah, spawn. Is this not working? Spawn, and then assert response regex. What am I doing wrong here?
What's failing?
Saying that there's nothing called spawn. Oh, maybe I absolutely
You
maybe I
miss.
actually spawn with orgs.
Yeah.
Failed.
There we are.
404. I think I got a minor block maybe.
Yes, that makes sense.
So let's see, delegate XT. It just says delegate error dot star slash star saying
Repetition quantifier expects
oh yeah,
the value.
I just need to use single curly braces for interpolation. What am I doing wrong here?
Ooh. You're doing a format. Some it interacts probably very weirdly with the regex.
I think you just can't do spaces around your interpolation like this. Like that's wrong. Okay, that's wrong. Did not match string. It has a delegate slash s star dd href inscription ID inscription ID. Maybe we can make this better. We have assert regex match. Didn't we fix this where we did like assert EQ? Oh no, this is in the test lib. So we have two different ones in two different places.
Oh yeah, with nicely formatted. Yeah, that was somewhere else.
So I think that's this. So maybe this will help us. Oh, string dot. That still didn't. Oh wait. I think I copied it in the wrong direction. Okay, so this is like a marginally better thing. And it says that fucking nothing matches. That's kind of annoying.
That's not very helpful.
No, not very helpful indeed. Let me see what happens if I just use spaces instead of maybe I messed this up. Well, let's just start copy pasting. Okay, there we go. It's probably just some formatting issue. But I do want to get it down to one line. Okay, great. So now we inscribe with the delegate transaction. We want to check that we both see the delegate and that when we get its content, we get the delegate's content.
Mhm.
So we do assert response. Is it just assert response?
Assert content, assert response.
Do we only have assert content? Like we never do, we never just get the contents?
I'm not sure. Where we do the content one.
Oh yeah, we have it in the server, but not in the test server.
Assert response, yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll add it. Sync server. We sync the server, we get the response. We have to do this shit. Assert status equals status code. Okay. And then we print the whatever, that's fine. I'm pretty responsive stack, expected response. Let's see if this works. Okay, and then we do assert content. And then this is delegate. Content gets foo. Oh yeah, okay, the delegate, the okay, cool. Oh, error reading file. Okay, fine. Okay, so now that's one test. Now I need to test the same thing with the batch inscriptions. Batch inscribe with delegate inscriptions. I'm going to copy this command. Instead run into serialized output, inscribe, no expected reject. RPC servers, blah, blah, blah. We're going to inscribe with inscription. And then let's see what happens. Shit's all fucked up. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, once again, we have some problems with the regex. And the issue is that the delegate is not actually present, so we must be fucking that up in the batch. Entry.delegate, and then we want to do BCD. The way you write tests, I forgot about this. We have to actually do the final step and pass in the delegate. Okay. Now what do we need next? We need docs, same PR.
Yeah, just put it in. It should be easy enough. Yeah, just make somewhere. It can be in any file.
Yep.
That's basically the only place we need it. I mean, we can link to.
I think we should
let's
actually
see,
put the
quick
contents,
docs.
the comments here.
Like the comments there. Okay.
Like, well, like we could do this.
Yeah.
I mean, we could, maybe we merge these so that they all have the same, so that the first one has all of the options. And then we use comments because it's a little bit easier to understand.
Mm-hmm. Fine.
Delegate. Oops. Do the docs need to be anywhere else?
Maybe go to the delegate one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Doesn't need to be there, no. I think it's fine. Yeah, the pointer also doesn't reference anything. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, great. Now we push the branch and
Okay.
you take a look.
Have a look.
Okay. Do you want to review it?
Yeah. Let's have a look.
So you can see like this PR is a really good example of how the hard thing about making a PR is often not the feature. Like the hard thing is all of the tests and like
Yeah.
plumbing things through and refactoring it. Like you saw the feature was like incredibly small, right? It's like new flag, you know, couple new fields on some structs, NBD. But way more was taken up with tests. We have like 4 non-trivial tests now, new error
Yeah.
messages, all sorts of stuff.
Okay, let's have a look. Should I share my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so the batch YAML file now has the comments. Yeah.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, and that
so-
PR merge, the support TX blocks JSON response.
Yeah, I merged it. Okay, and now from file, now also takes a delegate, which is an inscription ID, and then returns that. And now in inscription from file, what is this? This is a test. Okay, this is a test. Test changed. The new field. In the preview command, we now also add this. Yeah, that's fine. And now we have conflicts with delegate. Good. You have a typo over here.
Oh yeah.
In scribe.rs, wallet inscribe, and the help text. Delegate inscription content to delegates.
Issue. Where in inscribe?
Yes, line 73. And then, so where do we do this now? If we have a delegate, inscription exists. Delegate does not exist. Inscription from file. Inscriptions. Okay, now we pass in the index into this inscriptions function. And we test the conflicts thing. Good for now. Batch does self. Delegate is no transcription ID. Now we pass it in here. Inscriptions we iter if entry of delegate, ensure this thing very good. Stays the same, and then we push the delegate as well. Sort this. Fine. Then you made this regex thing pretty. And then you added the assert response. So using the server, you get it, you assert that the expected text is this. It's fine. Okay, now we have the tests. Wait, let me refresh this. Interesting. What does this allow now large enum? Is this a new Clippy error?
Yeah, so it complains when enum variants are much larger than other enum variants because it what the fuck am I talking about? Because if you have an enum, the size of the enum is the size of the largest variant of the enum. And so Clippy will complain if the size of two enum variants, the difference is very large because one enum variant is making the whole enum very large. But because this is a subcommand and we don't pass this all over the place, we don't care. It could be like a megabyte. We don't give a shit. So this just silences that warning.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so this is the same. You fix this thing here. Okay, let's have a look. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 tests. File inscribe with delegate inscription. So we test the correct thing here, and then we run this, and then we assert that the delegate is this, description is this. We assert that response content is foo, because where did we make it foo? Is the default here in the inscribe command foo?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, that's okay. File inscribe with non-existent delegate. File inscribe with non-existent. Existent. With an E is correct? Existent? Existent or E? E or A?
He's correct.
Oh, E is correct. Okay. We create this. Delegate doesn't exist. Delegate doesn't exist. Cool. And then we do the same thing with the batch. We do batch delegate. And we already, I saw one test where we did the conflict test. So that works as well. Now we do the delegate thing here. Already has been inscribed. We assert then that it's foo, and if it doesn't exist, we also error. Yeah, I think that's it. It's pretty simple.
Oh, let's go.
Let's let him go. Some tests doesn't pass.
Yeah, let's see.
Maybe need to update the branch as well.
Okay.
Really tweaked on here. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's Clippy. close the merge. Okay, yeah, looks good to me. I mean, you disabled auto merge?
Oh no, I just wanted to edit the commit message, so I re-enabled it. All right. All right, should we call it there for the actual coding?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty tired.
Yep, almost 3 hours of Ordinals coding club, so not bad.
Pretty good, guys.
3 hours is fine.
Top tier content.
Yeah, absolutely. Me in the terminal. What a blast. Does anybody have questions? We got time for a little Q&A. Anything and everything is fair game.
Yeah, now it's open. Throw your
Yeah.
dumbest questions. God help me, so you can also ask about runes even. Okay, Eloc's been up, or I'm just gonna got Arctic. Let's see. Yeah, what's up, Eloc? What's up, Lifo? Arctic, you're on the spot. What you got?
I'd made an issue just because I wanted to have a talk about the best way to, because like as a user for testing, just want to make it like easier to test stuff. So I mean like a test server where I'm like running like local files and then I'm like calling mainnet content. So like if I'm like working with libraries that are already on chain,
Mhm.
but it'd be nice to like mix reg tests with mainnet. So like if you like call a
So you
mainnet
can
description
inscribe
on
on
reg
reg
test,
test and access mainnet content, right?
yeah. Or even
Yeah.
like if we could have all three, because like you have a file you're editing, you have something on reg test, and you have like mainnet. It's like having
Mhm.
all three like in your sandbox. And like
I
help
think that
like
would be
development.
fine. It would be. I mean, I think it would be pretty simple. We could do it in a really hacky way so that it just fell back for slash content. But yeah, I think that's a totally reasonable idea. And yeah, you would just have to have one ord server, but then you'd have to have a both Bitcoin Ds running locally.
Yeah, and like the edge cases on
Yeah.
like making sure that's because like I could just make like a dummy server to do all that, which is fine.
The
Like, do we
tricky thing
want to
is
put it in
that
order?
like we wouldn't want to make it work in reg test in a way that wouldn't work on mainnet. Like if we get the configuration slightly wrong, you run this like server that falls back to mainnet, but it doesn't exactly do it right. And then the thing looks like it's working, but then it only works
Yeah.
on reg test.
Yeah. If people rely on it and then it fucks up and people spend a lot of Bitcoin inscribing it,
Yeah.
it's tricky. Like, yeah.
Can you just inscribe the things that you want on mainnet from reg test?
What do you mean?
Like you're accessing content on mainnet, but you want it on a reg test server. So can't you just inscribe all that content from mainnet on reg test?
Yeah, and that's what I do, but it's like you got all these dependency graphs. Like React, for instance, has like it's like nested really deep. So like you have to go inside or stuff's like gzip, so you have to like ungzip it and then put the ID in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like when you have like multiple dependency like trees in your dependencies, you'll have to like like inscribe like I don't know a lot of libraries.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think it's reasonable. I mean, I think what somebody should do is try to add it and then see how hard it is. It might be pretty easy, or it might be just impossibly difficult. So yeah, but I mean, I think it's a good feature, and I understand the desire there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to think about, I guess.
Yep. All right. Anybody else? Arctic Mosaics.
Hey, thanks. Greetings from BTC Startup. Casey, thanks for joining us.
Oh
Quick
yeah, no,
question.
my pleasure.
Just on the topic of like a lazy mint, am I missing something to have parent-child provenance? It's really not possible with a lazy mint, or am I missing something?
Yeah, by a lazy mint, you mean a mint that like other people do?
Yeah, exactly. So that it would have child provenance connection with a parent, but we don't have to pre-inscribe everything.
Yeah, so that's hard because the purpose of parent-child is to prove that the person who owned the parent, um, uh, that the person who owns the parent is able to like authorize the spend or authorize the creation, right? And so if you have people inscribing that don't control the keys to the parent, they aren't authorized to move the parent, and so they can't move the parent, and so if they're inscribing, it won't work. I definitely agree that that's unfortunate. There's a lot of things that people want to do like that, but for now, like, I mean, you'd have to do something exotic, like you would have to expose a server that had the parent's private keys, and then anytime somebody wanted to mint, they would like construct a transaction that spent the parent back to itself, and then you would just sign that transaction if it spent the parent back to the same address or a new change address. But that would be some heavy lifting, and you would also have to serialize these lazy mints essentially because you could only have one in flight at a time.
Yeah.
What's the desire behind the
Okay,
lazy mint? Is
thank
it
you.
so it's easier for people to mint, or for the person making the collection to save on transaction fees?
Primarily the latter. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's rough. Parent-child is hard to use. Um, Creators
Yeah.
don't have a lot of monies. Yeah. Um, yeah, like you could let people mint via Lightning, like pay with a Lightning transaction to mint, and then you could do parent-child. That's
You could
probably the way.
do yeah, you could do like a batch minting where like you collect money via Lightning, and then when you have enough money, you create the batch file and pay it out directly to everyone who inscribed. Like you just get the addresses, and then you inscribe that
I was
way.
thinking of doing batch, but didn't think of the lightning aspect. Yeah, you've got the
It's
creative
it's
juices
it's
going. Thanks so
custodial,
much,
of
you guys.
course. Like it's not non-custodial. Like, but you're already trusting the person to give you something. So they would custody the funds while you wait for your batch file to confirm and to be sent, or the inscription in there. But it is a possibility. Yeah. Trevor asked
Thanks,
about
guys. You got the
Cloudflare.
creative juices going.
Oh, sorry.
I just was saying thanks. Have a great night, everyone.
Oh yeah, for sure. Awesome.
Yeah,
Good
dude.
question.
Thanks for the question.
Um,
Whoever asked when
Cloudflare, Casey, do we have any update on the Cloudflare stuff?
No update. Yeah, if you know anybody at Cloudflare, and you can ask them nicely, feel free, but they probably won't be able to do it because we already have a man on the inside who is helping us. But I think Cloudflare, they laid a lot of people off. It's just
It's a mess.
chaos inside the org. So yeah, the shit's fucked.
Yeah. Like we couldn't have gotten a better inside man, but like he can't change it on his own.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's very unfortunate. Why did lay off people? I don't get it.
Bro, we're paying them there. I know why. Okay. We route 50 million requests a week through them, and
Per day.
like
50 million per day.
50 million per day, and like 50 gigabytes of egress a day, and we pay them $10 a month, bro. We're the problem. We are the problem.
How do they make money? How are they supposed to make money, guys?
I think they make money on their giant like corporate customers essentially, and like, some of their tiny customers will like grow. They're banking on us turning into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, and little do they know that we're doing it for the lulz, and they'll never make a goddamn penny off of us.
Casey, did you have any thoughts on the CSP issue that I made?
I looked into that a little bit. So this is a CSP issue with WebAssembly modules. I sort of got into the spec, and I think that yeah, I mean, we definitely need to look at it, but I don't have any updates. I think there might be different CSP rules for WASM modules, but I don't fully understand them.
Yeah,
Did you
there
have
was like a different. Sorry. So it seems to be only an issue with the when it's embedded in like a sandbox iframe. It works it works as expected on when you go to content, but it's only an issue with the iframe. But if you add that allow same origin, then it works. And I think that also works in conjunction, like in combination with the CSP headers. So it should, I believe it should work, but I might be missing something. So that's what I was wondering about.
Let me take a look. It's going to be in issues, last one, inscriptions, CSP. So, oh, allow same origin. I don't know what this does. Iframe allow same origin. Allow the content to be treated as from its normal origin.
You want to share your screen, Casey, so people can see what you're looking at?
I'm just looking at like some docs, but if adding allow same origin works, I don't know why we don't have it, and we'd want to add it really carefully because hypothetically it could, open up the sandbox in undesirable ways. I don't know if it would do that, but I don't know for sure. So it requires some like thought about what allow same origin does.
I think we haven't needed it because we have the CSP headers. So that already does the job. So absent CSP headers, this would allow same origin requests to everything under the same origin. But when both are present, like same origin is still like it still gets the priority, the headers. But for WebAssembly modules, this seems to be the only way it works.
There's some tricky things, which is like, yeah, I wonder if it not having the same origin is really nice because it adds a lot of restrictions to the sandbox, like with cookies, maybe. What's that?
Sorry, that was me.
Go ahead, Lifo Fufo.
No, I accidentally pressed the button here and then the sound came out.
Yeah, it wasn't me. Sorry.
That wasn't him. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I think we just have to look at it.
So this header only applies to the iframe origin that you're loading. So say you're loading like google.com/whatever, then that only applies to google.com. It doesn't matter what the parent is, the parent host is. But yeah, I agree. Like I know like this is messy, and I'm pretty sure I might be missing something. And this is like pretty uncharted waters, I guess.
Yeah, so I think it also allows access to data storage and cookies.
Under the iframe origin, yes.
Yeah, but then I'm thinking about
it. But also, like we already have the CSP header, so they will always take precedence. So it will still be respected.
What about data storage?
I don't know.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Like this might allow inscriptions to access data storage. Like and from macros access, and like we don't necessarily want to do that. Yeah, I think this will take like sitting down and thinking about all of the spec implications.
So Casey, I was like way back. I was trying to like I was gonna do a PR to add this, and then I started looking at it, and I think it like opened up the sandbox if you have like allow same origin and allow scripts in the same iframe.
Do you know
like,
how
I just like closed it. I remember I got like an error in the console that said like this is like can open the sandbox up if you have allow scripts and allow same origin in the same iframe.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't need to know like what the specific, is that origin.
I think it would allow you to have like session storage in like the inscription page, which you like only have on content right now.
Yeah.
Did you do something with session storage, Edoc? Like I remember, like we talked about it before, where like
yeah, it doesn't work on the inscription page, but it does like on the content page.
Got it.
Because it's like sandboxed.
Okay. But like, I guess the question is, if it works under content, then what could go wrong with if it works under preview?
Well, if it's something that we want to discourage, like accessing data storage, then there is a difference between the two working, right? If people can make it work on /content, but most people don't go to /content, then it's still, the sandbox is intact for one of the cases where it matters.
Cool, makes sense.
Yeah. All right, should we call it? Should we conclude the Ordinals Coding Club?
I motion a second.
Yep.
I concur.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming. Thanks Charlie once again for facilitating and streaming and everything.
Yes.
And yeah, we will see you next time.
Rock
next time,
on,
guys.
guys. Thanks. Hang out in the
Thanks, folks.
Ordicord. Peace out, y'all.
Later, guys.